Hey, Mike here. I just wanted to let you know that you can listen to Dark Poutine early and ad-free on Amazon Music, included with Prime. You're about to listen to a historical episode of Dark Poutine. After episode 149, you will find Scott is no longer with the show. In an effort to maintain continuity and offer listeners as many episodes as possible, we are leaving the episodes in which he co-hosted intact. Thank you. Welcome to Dark Poutine. I'm Mike Brown, creator and host. With me, as usual, is my good friend and co-host, Scott Hemingway. Say hello, Scott.
Oh, hi, everybody. It's really good to hear you.
No.
No, they're listening to us, aren't they?
Yeah, be heard by you.
It's not the other way.
Yeah, so we would say it's really good to be heard by you.
Oh, it's really good to hear you. Let's move on.
Scott doesn't know how this works.
Let's move on.
The views, information, and opinions expressed during the Dark Poutine podcast are solely those of the producer and do not necessarily represent those of CuriousCast, its affiliate Global News, nor their parent company, Chorus Entertainment.
Dark Poutine is not for the faint of heart or squeamish. Listener discretion is strongly advised. We're not experts on the topics we present, nor are we journalists. We're two ordinary Canadians chatting about crime and the dark side of history. Let's get to it. Put on your toque, grab yourself a double-double and an Nanaimo bar. It's time to scarf down some Dark Poutine.
Yum, yum.
Listeners who feel they are in crisis can contact the crisis text line in Canada by texting HOME to 686868. In the US or UK, text HOME to 741741. You'll be matched with a volunteer counselor who is supervised by a licensed trained mental health professional. Crisis text line is free, 24/7 support for those in crisis. For more information, please go to crisistextline.ca in Canada or crisistextline.org globally. And let's get on with the show. The murders of an Australian man named Lucas Fowler and his American girlfriend Chynna Deese near Leonard Hot Springs, BC in mid-July of 2019 were horrific. Both had been shot. As police were trying to figure out who killed the pair, Leonard Dyck, a much-loved botanist and university lecturer, also turned up dead 4 days later, having been shot to death near Dease Lake. His SUV was missing. The burnt-out husk of a camper truck belonging to a young Vancouver Island man was also found nearby. He and his friend were on their way north for work and had failed to check in with family for days, and now they were considered missing.
Yeah, this was a big one at the time, but just a year ago.
Although RCMP stated that the murders of the couple and the botanist were not connected at first, it quickly became clear that they were, and the two missing young men were responsible for both. This triggered a massive manhunt and investigation taking place across 4 provinces and 1 territory as Canadians watched events unfold in their news feeds over the next 3 weeks. This is episode 128, The Murders of Chynna Deese, Lucas Fowler, and Leonard Dyck.
Yeah, this was one where everybody's kind of glued to the media as it's happening.
Yeah.
Everything was just unfolding in real time, getting constant updates, and it was just a crazy.
And things were happening so fast, people were getting confused about things. And we'll get into that as we go along. Chynna Noel Deese was 24 years old. She was from Charlotte, North Carolina, and was the youngest of 4 siblings. She had 2 brothers and a sister. She had an infectious smile. Chynna graduated from Myers Park High School in 2013 and then went to college, Appalachian State, where she graduated in 2017, studying psychology and business. Chynna was kind and always thinking of others. As well as being a blood donor, she volunteered at Joni and Friends Family Retreats, a Christian-centered organization for individuals affected by disabilities.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, she sounded like a nice person.
Yeah.
Her adventurous spirit inspired her to travel as much as she could. She'd been to 13 countries around Asia, South America, and Europe in her 24 years.
Holy crap.
She paid for her trips working at non-profits and hostels in many of the countries she was visiting. Her wandering took her to Croatia after college, where she got a temporary gig at a hostel. And it was there that Chynna met a good-looking, tall, blonde, and bearded Australian man named Lucas Fowler. He was from Sydney's Hills District and the son of New South Wales Chief Inspector Stephen Fowler. He went to Ku-ring-gai High School.
They both sound like wonderful people.
So far,
Yeah.
according to a BBC article, Lucas Fowler was the fourth child in the Fowler family and grew up loving adventure and the outdoors, riding dirt bikes and camping. Lucas, a year younger than Chynna, was in the middle of a 2-year-long backpacking trip around the world when they met. The pair clicked pretty much right away, and it was clear to everyone around them that they were deeply in love.
Just living your best life
Just
right there.
living their best lives.
Traveling the globe, falling in love, seeing the world together. Like, that's just beautiful.
I can think of worse things to be doing with my days,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
According to an excellent article about Chynna Deese's life on charlotteagenda.com, the same year that Chynna and Lucas met, they returned to the U.S. and, quote, they drove her father's 1996 Land Cruiser across the United States, taking young love up into the Rockies and through Yellowstone and down to San Diego, where they dropped the vehicle with a friend and then crossed the border and explored Mexico and Central America. Lucas came home to Charlotte with her in the winter of 2018 and lived here for 2 months. He smashed ginger snaps for pumpkin cheesecake and at Thanksgiving wore one of Chynna's grandmother's wool sweaters on Christmas, red with white snowflakes down the arm. It was like one of those ugly sweaters.
Yeah, just having a good time.
Sure, and they both had these really big smiles, and you could tell that they just loved to be in each other's company. They were just always hanging off each other in every picture that I saw of them.
Just like us, Mike.
No, that is not the case.
Boo.
Scott and I do not hang off each other. It is
Yeah, Carol, in case you're listening.
yuck. A National Post article said, their families expected them to marry and recalled with humor their plan to raise children in Australia for at least 2 years to ensure they had the accent. Right?
As we've talked about, it's a great accent.
I love the Australian accent.
You little bedwetter,
Nice lady.
get in the water box.
Exactly. Again, according to charlotteagenda.com, Lucas's temporary U.S. visa ran out in January of 2019. So rather than head all the way back to Australia and many thousands of kilometers away from Chynna, his girlfriend Chynna, not the place,
Thank you for clarifying.
he decided to head to Fort Nelson, British Columbia, where he snagged a job at a local ranch.
Yeah.
Chynna worked for the next few months to join Lucas there for a 25-day vacation in July. They were set to drive around northern B.C. and into Alaska in a beat-up blue 1986 Econoline van that he'd been given by his boss. So this old van, this old beater is sitting there on the ranch, and Lucas put his mechanical skills to work and got it running again. So his boss said, well, I guess you can just have it then.
Man, that's something I would want to do. Maybe not do the fixing the van part, but just go drive around in a van. Wow, that's just, you would think of all the places that they have been. They've been to some pretty treacherous places. You would think Fort Nelson would be just like,
well, it's just a
tranquil.
like, think about driving up through that way. There's
my God,
lots to see. That's for
heaven,
sure. It's
mountains,
and trees,
rivers. It's beautiful.
So Chynna was ready to come here to BC in early July. According to an anecdote told to the Charlotte Agenda by her mom, Sheila, Chynna was already packed and had no room in her luggage for a couple of important items. Quote, Chynna used what little extra cash she had to buy 2 gifts for Lucas, work boots and a blanket with a moose embroidered on it.
Oh, my God.
I guess I'll have to wear the boots on the plane, Chynna told her mother that morning. Sheila burst out laughing at the thought of her 5'6" daughter flopping through 3 airports between connecting flights in the size 12s.
What a sweetheart.
Right? You get your
What a
girlfriend's
sweetheart.
bought you some boots.
Yeah.
And she's going to wear them on the plane because she can't fit them into her stuff.
Well, and
so she's just flipping and flopping. They look like flippers probably
and then
on
she
her feet.
spent whatever little extra cash she had on gifts for him.
Yeah.
Which, like, work boots. Like, what? Oh.
The couple spent the next week around the ranch. On July 13th, 2019, in a photo shared by Chynna's family with CharlotteAgenda.com, Lucas Fowler and Chynna Deese can be seen in Lucas' van grinning broadly as they left Hudson Hope, British Columbia, on their trip north to Alaska.
I could see why they'd be smiling and
Right.
looking. It would be something I would look forward to.
It's a trip of a lifetime.
Oh, my
you know?
God.
And it sounded like they had a number of trips of a lifetime
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, but you would just think this is going to be a calm, tranquil, like just nothing but animals and silent. Oh.
Yeah. In a 17-minute surveillance video from Sunday, July 14th, the day after the couple's departure, Lucas's van is seen pulling into a gas station. Lucas, his long hair in a ponytail, wearing long pants and a t-shirt, can be seen pumping gas into the two-tone blue van. Chynna, wearing a loose gray t-shirt, cut-off jeans, and sandals, diligently cleans the windows all around the van and then embraces Lucas before she heads inside to the convenience store. Lucas follows her when he's done pumping gas. After a few minutes, they exit the store. Chynna has an armful of road goodies and can be seen drinking from a massive Slurpee. The pair climbs into the van with Lucas driving, and it pulls away.
I want to be them.
I've had a lot of trips like that. Carol and I will do that kind of stuff. We get our road goodies, we get our junk food, our sugary stuff to keep us awake, like all those kind of things.
Mine have usually been with Martin.
Oh, really? Well, anyway, I do mine with my wife.
Yeah, yeah, I should try that. But it's just like hearing that. Just she doesn't know she's being recorded. She just wanted to embrace her boyfriend,
and it's beautiful. Like she's standing on the edge of the pedestal for the gas pumps because he's quite a bit taller than her, and she's 5'6", so she's as tall as me. And I look every picture I see of him, he's got to be at least 6'4". Like he was a very tall, lanky, tall man.
Yeah.
And so she got up on top of this thing and gave him a hug, like standing on her tippy toes.
my heart.
Yeah. From a Vancouver Sun article on the timeline of the events of this story, quote, on Sunday evening, tourist Charles Ray is driving along Highway 97, 20 kilometers south of Liard Hot Springs, when he notices a broken down van. He stops to help. Fowler and Dease tell him they plan to call a tow truck eventually. The area they are stopped in has no cell phone coverage. Ray camps 3 kilometers away and plans to check on them in the morning.
Oh.
On this day, numerous people stop to talk to the couple and offer help while some passersby contact the RCMP. Oh, hey, there's a van out there. But the people didn't seem to be in any trouble. So.
Or distressed. They were like, yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. You know,
Exactly.
we'll get this thing going when it's time.
Road maintenance worker Elandra Hull drives past the van and notes a man in the middle of the road facing a man and woman who are close to the van. They seem to be in a heated conversation, but we're not sure who that person is. Mm-hmm. The couple was last seen alive around 7 p.m. that evening. At 6:20 a.m. on July 15, 2019, a semi-truck driver sees a blue van on the side of the road and notes the back window is smashed out. He pulled over and got out of his truck. As he walked around to the back of the van, he was shocked upon seeing 2 bodies, a tall, bearded blonde man and a blonde woman, in the ditch 3 meters from the van. The bodies were cold, having been there for a while. Others arrive on the scene to assist. As the area is out of cell phone range, one person volunteers to go and call the police, and RCMP are contacted at 7:22 a.m.
Oh, wow, that's quite an hour
And
it took to get to where they can. Oh, my God.
And they
wow.
didn't. The RCMP were not able to come for another 4 hours.
That poor
apparently,
person who stayed
Yes.
with, like, just, I mean, they, for what they're having to see and witness. And whoever did this, I just want to destroy already because of that love and beauty and those 2 good people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody just stopped that. just stopped that love and that joy and happiness. And
Police found the pair about 5 meters apart from each other. They'd been shot to death. Both of them had multiple entrance and exit wounds. From RCMP documents, quote, police conducted an extensive search of the crime scene and surrounding areas. Various items were seized, including unspent and spent cartridges with the head stamp 101 and 75. The crime scene exhibits were sent to a firearms lab for examination. The number 75 is a date stamp that indicates the ammunition was manufactured in 1975, and the number 101 refers to the factory where the ammunition was produced. Oh, wow. The seized ammunition was deemed to be 7.62 39mm caliber. Firearms known to fire this caliber include a firearm commonly known as an SKS, which is a non-restricted semi-automatic rifle. End quote.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It sort of looks like an AK-47 knockoff, except it's a little longer. People have always referred to them as an AK knockoff. Yeah. They do kind of look like that, but the stock is a little different, and like I say, it's longer.
Okay.
The RCMP Major Crimes Unit came in from Prince George and set about trying to identify the dead couple and figure out who had killed them and why. Over the next day, the bodies were identified as Chynna Deese and Lucas Fowler. Their families were notified, and later their names were released to the public with more pleas for information.
Oh my God, getting that call. Oh.
Yeah, especially, both parents are in different countries. Her parents are in the U.S., his parents are in Australia. His dad's a cop, so he knows exactly what this all means.
Yeah, oh my God.
A sketch was made of the bearded and dark-haired man who the couple had been seen apparently arguing with the day before. Police held a press conference releasing the sketch as a person of interest. Here's some global news audio of news coverage of the victim identification, and audio from a local resident, Carrie Hawryluck, telling of her husband's sighting of Chynna and Lucas sitting by the side of the road.
The family of one of the victims will be arriving here at YVR, bound for northern BC as this investigation continues to unfold. We do know the identities of the victims. They are Chynna Noel Deese of Charlotte, North Carolina, and Lucas Robertson Fowler of Australia. The pair were found dead Monday on Highway 97, about 20 kilometers south of Leonard Hot Springs. It's not clear why they were up there, but police believe they were killed sometime between Sunday and Monday. A woman who lives in the area says she saw their vehicle broken down by the side of the road.
We just saw their van on the side of the road, and we saw the young couple, and the van hood was up like they had broken down. And they were sitting in some lawn chairs in the ditch. And when I went by, my husband had gone by in his pickup with our two kids about 20 minutes before, and he had slowed down, but he said that the couple didn't really indicate that they were having problems. He said they just were still sitting in their chairs, so he just kept going.
Lucas is the son of a high-ranking Australian investigator, and we know his family is en route here, flying through YVR.
A blue 1986 Chevrolet van bearing Alberta license plates were located at the scene. We understand that Lucas' family is traveling to Canada and that his family is an active member of the New South Wales Police Force. He is accompanied by a number of police officers from Australia. These investigators will be here to support the Fowler family and will not form part of our investigative team here in Canada.
Of course, the big question is why and who killed the pair. At this point, RCMP are appealing to the public for dash cam video, asking anyone who might have been driving along Highway 97 in that area on Sunday or Monday to get in contact with them. That is Stork Global News.
Days later, witnesses told Global News of meeting Chynna and Lucas just before their deaths.
It just blows my mind that on that same highway there could be so good but yet so evil.
Sandra Broughton says she will never forget meeting Lucas Fowler and Chynna Deese. It was last Sunday, and her family was heading home from a camping trip in the Yukon when she and her husband pulled over to help the young travelers.
There was a van broke down, and we just pulled over to see if they needed help. They seemed like they kind of had it under control. There was mechanical issues with the van. But they seemed fairly confident and competent. They knew what the problem was.
The Brontons continued on to Fort Nelson, only to discover days later the couple was found dead.
We went there. We were there to help them, like almost like an angel there to help them in a way, like trying to be good and help them. But yet that same day, the complete opposite of humanity hurt them.
I've never had that happen where I'm talking to someone and then suddenly they're just not there.
Marissa McKinley also crossed paths with the couple days before they died when they stopped in at the Pink Mountain campsite.
We don't really know what to think, so it's just the uncertainty that's putting everyone on edge.
And mixed in with the uncertainty, grief for two young strangers described as quiet, kind, and very much in love.
The first thing I thought of was their parents. So it would be a pretty tough day for the family.
Nadia Stewart, Global News, on Highway 97 near Liard Hot Springs.
So many people had stopped to try and help these folks, and they were just having a great time.
Well, I mean, we got to remember, like, he was competent enough to repair the vehicle to get it going.
Yep.
To get it for their travels. And so, I'm sure by the sound of it, they said he knew what was wrong, and they were just, we'll take care of it. We're just going to chill.
It's just broken down. Maybe we'll just camp here for a bit.
You have no agenda.
Yeah,
I'm assuming, like, it's like we're off to go from here to there.
Yeah. And sure, this is a little blip in the road, but we're just chilling out.
While we're here, let's chill.
RCMP stated that they believe the risk to people traveling in the area was not heightened, nor was it linked to any other crimes that they were investigating at the time.
We recognize that this news is very troubling for the entire community and absolutely appreciate there may be concerns for safety in an area that's popular with nature enthusiasts and tourists. This investigation is in its very infancy, and it's not yet clear whether Lucas and Chynna were targeted or if this was a crime of opportunity. At this point, we have nothing to indicate that their deaths are linked to any other active and ongoing investigations in that area of the province, or that there's a heightened risk to public safety because of this. Our investigators will consider any and all information carefully as this investigation unfolds.
Who am I to tell the RCMP what they should do? They're way more qualified to know what to do than I am. My reaction, though, is, two people were murdered on
seems senselessly shot.
Not from this area.
But part of the mandate is probably not to incite fear.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I completely agree. But I don't know. I would think that it'd be like, just if you're in the area, just be safe.
Yeah.
Because, it seems senseless and random.
Totally.
But again, they know a hell of a lot more than I do. So
Me too.
Yeah.
From RCMP documents, speaking of them, on July 19th, 2019, an autopsy was performed on Fowler and Dease. The pathologist concluded both of them had died of multiple gunshot wounds. It appears that the shooters stood behind the victims for at least some of the shots.
Disgusting.
On Friday, July 19th, 2019, at approximately 7:19 in the morning, 60 kilometers south of Dease Lake.
Not far.
Well, actually, it's quite a ways. It's 460 kilometers away from the first crime scene.
Oh, okay. I was just going by south of Dease Lake. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I jumped the gun.
Yeah. So the RCMP responded to a vehicle fire there on Highway 37. When they arrived on the scene, they found that a truck was completely burned, and we've got a picture of it here on the screen.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see it on darkpoutine.com. So responding officers found a burnt license plate belonging to this truck and determined it to be from a Dodge pickup truck of the make and model, which was now smoldering just off the road. And it was registered to a 19-year-old man named Cam McLeod, and he was from Port Alberni, British Columbia.
Okay, so it's 460 kilometers from where the first crime scene was. And so, that is a good chunk. That you're looking at a solid 4-5 hours of driving for that, if
easily.
not more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And not only that, it's 4 days later. So a lot has could probably take place within 4 days.
These are important things to note.
Yeah, so you don't, as a police officer, you think, okay, a burning truck, probably not related to a murder that's happened.
Two very different crimes, quite a distance apart.
Yeah,
it's it's not like it was, and 7 blocks away they found this burning truck. No.
So it's, like I say, almost 500 kilometers away and 4 days later.
Yeah.
From RCMP documents, quote, on July 19th, 2019, at approximately 8:29 a.m., a highway worker stopped and advised the Dease Lake RCMP officer at the burnt truck scene about a deceased male he had just located approximately 2 kilometers south. The deceased was an older male, and he did not match the physical descriptors of Cam McLeod, the owner of the truck.
Okay.
The deceased suffered injuries to his head and body, including bruises and burn marks.
Oh.
Initially, the cause of death was unknown, and this is in parentheses. The police are not releasing further details of the injuries out of respect for the deceased's family and not to further victimize them.
Oh, wow.
So things had been done to that person.
Yeah. If it's so bad that they don't want to speak to it, I can understand wanting to spare the family.
E Division Major Crime Unit was deployed to support the Dease Lake RCMP. So they came from all the way from Prince George. And the North District Major Crime Unit was also there. So there's a lot of police officers involved in this. Police did not know how the deceased male was connected to the vehicle fire or the missing registered owner. As a result, a search warrant was drafted to search the burnt truck. And I didn't realize that. I guess if it's someone else's property, you need to make sure that you have a search warrant.
But I thought if
probable cause.
Yeah, and I thought just like if somebody's home, like you need a search warrant to enter a home. Yeah. But if you see a crime happen, an officer can enter if...
I am unaware of the Canadian laws around that, but it's interesting. This is the first time I've kind of seen this.
Where you needed a search warrant for a burnt truck.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they know whose truck it is whereas if it
and
was
he's not around. Yeah.
Yeah, and whereas if it wasn't...
he hasn't committed any crime, right?
Interesting.
That they're aware of. So
Canadian lawyers or law enforcement officers, please hit us up. Let us know.
Or it seems to me like they're crossing T's and dotting I's. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that everything's above board and something doesn't fall apart later due to an illegal search.
Yep, absolutely.
Late that day, a family member of Cam McLeod told RCMP that he and his friend, 18-year-old Briar Schmigelski, left Port Alberni on Vancouver Island on January 12th, 2019, telling their families that they were on their way to Whitehorse in the Yukon to work.
Okay.
The two young men had been seen in McLeod's red and gray Dodge pickup with a camper on the back, traveling south from the Super A General Store in Dease Lake at around 3:15 the day before. So they were going the wrong direction if they were going to Whitehorse.
Yeah, because that's north.
Yeah, right? So something's not making sense. Their families had not heard from them in days. Well, where were they now, and who was this dead man? Nobody knew who the other deceased man was at the time. Were all these things connected? And at first, police didn't have any evidence linking the crime, or the young men, or the other crime far away.
They do seem different enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, both murders, but one, the vehicle's destroyed. The other one, it is like
they don't even know if the vehicle is connected to the murder that's 2 kilometers away. They have no idea.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Descriptions of the two young Vancouver Island men were released. Police wanted to know if they were okay, as they now seemed to be missing. Cam McLeod was described as 6'4" or 1.93 meters tall, weighing approximately 169 pounds or 77 kilograms, having dark brown hair, facial hair, and brown eyes. Briar Schmigelski was described also as 6'4" or 1.93 meters tall. He, too, weighed 169 pounds or 77 kilograms, having sandy brown hair. Both of them were tall and thin.
Mm-hmm.
That's very thin for a 6'4"
absolutely.
man.
Yeah, I'm currently walking around at about 170, and I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
And so, so I'm thinking, like, you add a good chunk of it, like that's
good chunk of human on top of that.
That's beanpole territory.
Exactly. Schmigelski and McLeod's family and a few friends told investigators they could not believe the boys were involved in the murder of the man near Dease Lake. They thought the two had to have been victims as well.
Mm-hmm.
RCMP initially felt there was no link to the crimes, but things soon changed. Later in the day, on July 22, 2019, with the hope of identifying the Dease Lake murder victim, police released a composite sketch made of him. He was a kindly-looking, older, bearded man. And here's where some of the media got confused, because they released one composite drawing of another bearded man, and then another composite drawing of a different bearded man, and some of the media coverage got the two conflated.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that was quickly cleared up.
Okay, good.
From RCMP documents, quote, at approximately 5 p.m., Helen Dyck called police and reported that she believed the composite sketch was her husband, Leonard Dyck. Leonard was a 64-year-old botany lecturer at the University of British Columbia. He left his Vancouver Island residence on July 16th to go on one of his characteristic outdoor research trips in his silver RAV4. Helen Dyck stated that her husband typically slept in his car after long drives. Leonard Dyck's last gas purchase was made on July 18th at approximately 7:46 p.m. This store was located approximately 20 kilometers away from where his body was discovered. So he probably just pulled over at the side of the road and just decided to camp there for the night.
Yep.
Helen reported that she had not heard from her husband since he last texted her on July 18th. Leonard Dyck's sister, Doris, shared details of her brother's life with the Star's Alex McKean. Leonard was born on July 9th, 1955. He and his sister had grown up in Abbott. There had been 3 other children born between the two, but all had died from an unspecified illness, so Leonard and Doris were tight. He was a protective older brother, albeit a pacifist, like the rest of the family.
Oh.
So a gentle soul.
I'm just going to say gentle giant.
From the Star, quote, their childhood pastimes of climbing trees and pretending to be Mission Impossible agents morphed over the years into routine brother and sister outings to concerts and plays. Dyck took a wide interest in music and art, and whenever he learned something new, he was eager to take on the role of teacher so his younger sister could share in the experience. And further on in that article, quote, as a young man, Dyck had a voracious appetite for learning. While studying biology and botany at university, he would draw, play guitar, and travel. He could have done anything. He could have gone into art, music. He chose science because it was the hardest thing, Fleck said. Len loved them all, but he also loved challenging himself, end quote.
Who the hell are these people? They're all so damn amazing.
Right.
Like, wow.
Neither of us are remotely that amazing.
Oh, no. If I was one of these people, you're like, yeah, you had a show.
Did a thing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Took some pictures.
Yeah. His kids are great.
Kids are awesome. Eric Friesen, Dyck's cousin from Calgary, set up a GoFundMe page in Leonard's memory. It provided some more details about his life. Quote, he leaves behind his wife of 30 years, Helen, and their 2 sons, Ben, 22, and Philip, 19. The 64-year-old sessional lecturer in botany at the University of British Columbia was killed near Dease Lake in northern British Columbia. This became the last of Len's many sojourns into the remote countryside he loved. Soft and thoughtfully spoken, Len was blessed with many gifts, a wonderful tenor voice, music abilities, artistic endeavors, and a keen intelligence. He studied at UBC, first applying himself to marine biology in his Bachelor of Science. He then pursued botany and the study of plant life, and spent 2 decades in the study of seaweed, its perils, and persistent survival, obtaining his master's and Ph.D. He wielded his knowledge with a dry wit that endeared him to his students and peers, end quote.
I want to go for a coffee with this guy, is what I'm thinking. Like,
but you can't.
Yeah.
No one could figure out why anybody would want to murder such a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
The police were getting more information that would take the investigation in a new direction. And with that, we will take a little break right here. And we're back. Thoughts so far, Scott?
Yeah, just what I was saying. Some great people.
Mm-hmm.
Some really wonderful people that I think any one of us would have loved to have spent some time getting to know.
Right. Early in the afternoon on July 22nd, 2019, after hearing of the search for Cam McLeod and Briar Schmigelski and the details of the murders, a witness came forward providing a statement to the RCMP. The witness knew McLeod and Schmigelski and believed that they may have been involved in the murders. This conflicted with the original witness statements from the people who knew the pair.
So that's interesting because thus far it appears that there are 5 victims.
Right.
3 murdered, 2 missing.
A search of the burned truck also turned up a burnt metal ammunition container. So thank goodness for the search warrant that they got.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was badly burnt, the numbers 7.62 and 1975-101 could be identified on the top of the canister. Furthermore, multiple burnt ammunition rounds with head stamp 101 and 75 were seized from the truck. Police also seized a gas nozzle from a jerry can near the burnt truck.
So, ammo made in 1975, Facility 101. That sounds like, I would imagine in 2019, that's pretty rare.
Be very rare.
Yeah, that's not common ammunition.
And probably the right amount of them were missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. RCMP held a press conference to inform the public of the latest developments. Here's some audio.
Today, I'm here to request public assistance in locating suspects in connection to the Northern British Columbia investigations. As a result of the information and the appeal to public that we made yesterday in connection with the Dease Lake investigation and the disappearance of Cam McLeod and Briar Schmigelski, we were able to confirm new information and issue a new plea. For the past few days, investigators have been focusing their efforts on locating Cam and Briar, given that their vehicle and camper had been located on fire and the 2 were considered missing. We have also been working to identify a man whose body was discovered deceased 2 kilometers south of the vehicle fire at a highway pullout. Investigators have also been able to confirm that Cam McLeod and Briar Schmigelski have left British Columbia and have been spotted in northern Saskatchewan. We believe that they're likely continuing to travel. Though we don't have a possible destination, we can now confirm that they were last seen driving a gray 2011 Toyota RAV4.
The missing RAV4 belonged to Leonard Dyck. It appeared as though the fugitives had switched vehicles from their own and burned it to cover up the evidence.
Given these latest developments, Cam and Briar are no longer considered missing. The RCMP are now considering Cam McLeod and Briar Schmigelski as suspects in the Dease Lake suspicious death and the double homicide of Lucas Fowler and Chynna Deese. We're asking for the public, if you spot Briar or Cam, consider them dangerous. Do not approach. Take no action and call immediately 911.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, already my recollection of all of this happening was that it was all relatively close. And so I was always like, why didn't the RCMP? But as I'm learning more, the distance and territory, it's like, okay, it's all... a lot of the judgment I may have had at the time is dissipating.
So that particular press conference that we just heard took place on July 23rd.
Okay.
From RCMP documents, quote, on July 12, 2019, McLeod and Schmigelski left the residence in Port Alberni, British Columbia. On the same day, they legally purchased one SKS semi-automatic rifle and a box of 20 rounds of Winchester 7.62 39mm ammunition using McLeod's possession and acquisition license at Cabela's in Nanaimo, British Columbia.
Okay.
Police were able to piece together a timeline for McLeod and Schmigelski using bank card usage and scouring 41 days worth of surveillance footage from along their supposed route prior to their becoming suspects and after they were in those 3 murders. It put them in just the right places, in just the right time frames, to have committed the cold-blooded crimes. They had in fact gone to the Yukon after murdering Lucas and Chynna, but had turned back toward their fateful encounter with Leonard Dyck.
Oh, that's fascinating.
There had almost been a fourth victim.
Oh.
From RCMP documents, quote, on July 17, 2019, at approximately 11:40 p.m., Ken Albertson, a photographer from Alaska, was driving westbound on the Alaska Highway and pulled off the road into a pullout to take a nap. This was located approximately 30 minutes west from Haines Junction, Petro-Canada, and 2 hours, 10 minutes west of Whitehorse.
Okay.
Within 5 minutes of being parked, a truck with a camper drove past him and stopped about 50 yards ahead. An unknown male got out of the passenger side of the truck holding a long gun. The male walked toward the tree line and started moving toward the witness in a tactical or hunting stance.
Jesus.
The truck also started driving slowly toward the witness. Mr. Albertson drove away from the armed male and drove past the truck. The driver covered his face with his hand, and Mr. Albertson was not able to see his face. Although he described the truck as being a white GMC at the time, the location and male descriptions fit McLeod and Schmigelski. Mr. Albertson made the report to police on July 21st, 2019. They were hunting people, is what it sounded like.
Yeah, that's like, wow. To know that you were so close to death.
Yeah, and he wasn't making it up because he reported it before they were even considered suspects. Yeah. On July 21st, they weren't considered suspects until the 23rd. So,
oh, wow.
On July 19th, 2019, the day of Leonard's murder, surveillance video showed McLeod and Smigelski purchasing gas and other items, including a crowbar and electrical tape, at a Vanderhoof hardware store. They were driving Leonard's RAV4. They were headed east and began to cover a lot of ground. On July 20th, they bought gas in Fairview, Alberta. On July 21st, they were in Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan, and then hours later in La Ronge, Saskatchewan. They went to a McDonald's in Thompson, Manitoba on July 22nd. From RCMP documents, quote, on July 22nd at around 2:30 p.m., a band constable from Split Lake, Manitoba was at a check stop near the entrance to Split Lake on Highway 280. A silver SUV was coming from the direction of Thompson and drove past the band constable but stopped eventually. The band constable dealt with the two males and allowed them to continue on their way. He had no idea who they were at the time. The following day, the band constable realized both males were McLeod and Schmigelski. Can you imagine? And here, if I'm surprised that he is still alive, to tell you the truth.
The only thing I can think of is, and maybe
it's speculation.
Maybe it's what you get into, but I can only it's complete speculation. But perhaps that was where they were wanting to be, and knowing that if they kill the officer, that could attract more attention, give up where their location is.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that could be it. They could have left him alone so they didn't leave a trail of more carnage.
Yeah, and an officer who's not reporting in is quickly going to generate some attention, and it's easier to track down an officer.
Also on July 22nd at 4:12 p.m., McLeod and Schmigelski purchased gas at a business in Split Lake, Manitoba. On July 23rd at around noon, and this is when it was being told that they were suspects, major crime investigators learned that a burnt RAV4 was located in Gillam, Manitoba on July 22nd, 2019. So,
with their MO, burn, kill vehicle occupant, take vehicle.
Well, this RAV4 was the one that belonged to Leonard Dyck.
Yeah, who's dead.
Yes.
Yes.
So on July 24th, Briar Schmigelski's dad, Alan, talked to the press about his son, saying they were regular kids. Here's some audio as he gives his perspective.
Oh, I mean, I'm curious to hear.
They hung out all the time. Briar never had Cam stay at his mom's house or his grandmother's. It was always at Cam's place, or they had a few other close friends, and they'd have their campouts and all that. I don't know much. I don't want to offend Cam's family, okay? So I know they're hurting as much as I am. I know they're very confused. All I can say is my son did not have any real guns. My son did not have a vehicle. My son does not know how to drive. He was very introverted, and he was very heavy into video games. When he came and worked for me for the summer, I didn't pay him. I just had a very expensive custom-made computer for him, which he was quite content with. You know, he wasn't into the ones where, you know, you have your machine gun and go shooting people. It was more into strategy, where you move your troops here and there. So his influences haven't been good. His influences have been YouTube and video games. They never got in trouble with the law. They never got into fights. You know, they were just hanging out and having a good time. They weren't scrappers. They weren't cursers. You know, they didn't go play Mr. Man like Macho. No, they were just everyday, regular kids. But both of them have to have a lot of pain inside. Both of them. They had told me that the Walmart jobs just weren't cutting it. They were going to go to Alberta and make some proper money. I believe that's what they were going to do, and I was absolutely flabbergasted to learn that 2 days later, and I found this out from the paper, that they were up in the Yukon. But initially, it looked like they were victims as well, right? Initially. And it's really tough for me to see in the paper today photos of them alive and well in Saskatchewan. So I know they're not lost in the woods. That's incredibly hard to deal with. A normal child doesn't travel across the country killing people. A child in some very serious pain does. Mounties are going to shoot first and ask questions later. Basically, he's going to be dead today or tomorrow. I know that. I would say, rest in peace, Brian. I love you. I'm so sorry all this had to happen. I'm so sorry that I couldn't rescue you.
What I'm hearing is a parent that's confused and doesn't want to believe that their son is capable of such a thing.
I find his way of speaking interesting. I find that he initially was as if he's telling a story, not so much talking about. I would be expecting a lot more pain at the beginning. We definitely heard sadness at the end, and I also understand as a parent, you want to believe in your child. Mm. You're his parent. That's your world. Yeah. You're going to speak to what you know, and want to try to defend your child. So it's really, I just didn't feel completely comfortable hearing him talk, because it was...
Well, it's an uncomfortable conversation for sure.
For sure. And
it was off the cuff. It wasn't a planned statement from him. So.
And you're just finding out that your child is likely...
accused of 3 murders.
Yeah, and so that's going to shock you.
And now being hunted by police, yeah. He
may have just been like... Because we tend to do this when in difficult, stressful times, we're just thinking out loud.
Stream of consciousness.
Yes, that could have been just what's, Ellen, you got a really good computer, so that's how I paid it, because you're just speaking as your thoughts are coming out, and it was weird though.
Well, Madison Hempstead, who went to school with Briar Schmigelski, shared some disturbing revelations about her former classmate with a Global News reporter. Let's hear from Madison.
Yeah, please.
I don't want to be rude, just kind of like a weird kid. He didn't really talk to anyone, super to himself. But when he did talk to people, the things he said were kind of scary, I guess. I never really thought anything of it until now, because we all thought he was just trying to make jokes, make people laugh, because he didn't have very many friends. But I know there was times he would tell me and my friends ways he wanted to kill us, and then himself, which is scary. One of my friends also commented on Facebook. All our comments keep getting deleted though, saying that Breyer said he wanted to kill his whole family. All he ever said to me was how he wanted to kill me and ways he would do it. And he would say things about how he would like cut our heads off and then he would take a gun and put it in his mouth and shoot himself in front of us. Pretty detailed stuff. But I don't know, at the time we just thought, oh, he's trying to be funny. And then I was like, well, that's really sad, they're missing. And then a few days later, people were like, oh, they're suspects. And then I just remembered everything that he said. I totally forgot about everything. When you know someone, it's kind of hard to believe they could do something, but all the parents are saying oh, it's not them, they have such a bright future, they look like good kids. People are they don't look like they'd be a criminal, but what does a criminal look like? Anyone could have done anything, and I don't know, it's sad if it is someone we knew and grew up with, but could be anyone, I guess. I know my friends who have had the same experiences as I had with him, they're all kind of scared about it. And no one really wants to say anything either because they're scared. I don't think there's anything to be scared of here. I guess he was saying it to a lot of people. We probably could have went and told a teacher, told someone. Because now, looking back, it seems like he obviously might have had some issues himself. And we probably could have tried to help him. But I don't know, at the time, it just didn't seem like anything.
Holy shit.
Right? I think, if your girls came home and told you that somebody was talking about shooting themselves or cutting
their heads off, and then shooting himself in front of them, which doesn't make a lot of sense because you've just cut their head off, so it's not like they can...
I know it's not. Yeah.
But, I'd say, let's call the popo.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah, but you know what? She sounds like she's got a good head on her shoulders there,
right.
And you're not going to be wanting to think, well, this person I know is probably going to be a murderer.
No,
you're gonna, it's not how we're wired to be like, okay, this person's eccentric, but
that's always the exception.
Yeah,
the people are not just. Everybody is not a murderer. The murderer is the exception.
Yeah,
usually.
Well, I hope to hell. So, but yeah, it was just, man, it would be weird to if you've I've hung out with that person, knowing that person, and yep, all that crazy shit that they had said they were going to do, they did.
Yeah, they went and did it.
Jesus.
The search for the suspected murderers was focused in Gillam, a small remote community of about 1,200 people over 1,000 kilometers north of Winnipeg, near Stevens Lake. Somehow, the two young suspects were able to elude police for days, even though Gillam was a, quote, close-knit community where everybody knows everybody, according to one woman from the area. Here's some audio from a Global News report filed on July 27th, a full 4 days after the two men vanished. The Gillam mayor can be heard talking about how citizens in the town were dealing with the manhunt.
Yeah, small town.
For the fourth day in a row, helicopters, drones, and dogs have been scouring the area. Search teams that had been out deep in the bush and around bogs and near the train tracks far away from Gillam appear to be moving much closer to town.
Some individuals are locking themselves in their house and staying secure that way. Others are just traveling in groups and staying safe and staying vigilant to the area. So it's a different mishmash of how people are taking this on.
Dwayne Foreman is hoping with all of the RCMP personnel searching for Cam McLeod and Breyer Schmigelski, this manhunt will end soon. But while police said Thursday they thought the suspects were in the region, the Mounties wouldn't say that Friday. So it's back to an old-fashioned police tactic.
Over the next 72 hours, investigators will conduct door-to-door canvasses in the town of Gillam and Fox Lake Cree Nation in hopes of generating new tips and information.
There are numerous challenges when it comes to finding these two fugitives. Gillam and neighboring Fox Lake First Nation covers a huge swath of land in Manitoba's north. Police are being challenged not only by the terrain, but also by separating fact from fiction.
Make sure that none of the false news stories that are flying out there are circulating. We just want the facts.
Rumors dilute the information pool, wasting precious time and manpower. RCMP report receiving more than 120 tips in the past few days. The hope is that by speaking personally with people, better tips can be generated.
Cam McLeod and Briar Schmigelski may have changed their appearance. It is possible that someone may not have been aware of who they were providing assistance to and may now be hesitant to come forward.
The men on the run are wanted for 3 murders in BC and could be anywhere, in an abandoned shack deep in the woods, or as some experts say, they may be closer, having to search for provisions.
So, yeah, they had them cornered. They had to have. Mm-hmm. It would have been, unless somebody had driven them away in some other vehicle, and there was no other people missing in Gillam or anything like that. So how would they have gotten away otherwise? There were no cars gone, no stolen vehicles, nothing like that. So
it just comes down to old gumshoeing.
Yeah,
just getting your boots on and heading out and tracking them down.
A private celebration of Chynna's life was held at 2 p.m. on Saturday, July 27th at the New City Church in Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Chynna's obituary reads in part, Chynna was a loving, free spirit who traveled the world. She had a genuine passion for the well-being of all people, their cultures and new experiences in general. Her loving, charismatic, and bubbly personality created a space in this world for genuine relationships to form. She always had a positive outlook on life and unfailingly brought joy to all that came in contact with her. The communities in northern Manitoba were kept in suspense for another week and a half. In the meantime, Lucas Fowler's family released a statement as well. To our dear family and friends, we have lost our dear Lucas Fowler, son, brother, grandson, and friend in the most terrible of circumstances. To lose someone so young and vibrant, who is traveling the world and just enjoying life to the full, is devastating. To know his beautiful girlfriend, Chynna Deese of Charlotte, North Carolina, also lost her life in this violent event is too cruel. All our love and best wishes go to Chynna's family and friends. We are now traveling to Canada to be with our boy and bring him home. Our deepest thanks for all your love and care. At this stage, we can only move forward a minute at a time, and those minutes are moving so slow. Please share this post with all people who may have crossed paths anywhere in the world with these beautiful young people.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From RCMP documents, quote, on July 29th, police located several items belonging to the suspects in the Sundance area, including hundreds of rounds of ammunition from a number of scenes. This led investigators to focus on locating additional evidence within the area. August 1st, McLeod's backpack was located containing a full box of ammunition as well as his wallet with his identification and then some clothing. On August 2nd, 2019, police located a damaged boat along the Nelson River. I remember that very well.
Yeah, same.
But this now turned out to be completely unrelated.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
August 4th, 2019, an underwater search was conducted where the boat was found. The search did not uncover any additional items linked to the suspects. So they thought maybe these guys had taken a boat, you know.
At the time, it seemed a surety that that's what the boat was related to it.
On August 7, 2019, police located 2 deceased bodies approximately 8 kilometers away from the burnt RAV4. Police seized 2 SKS semi-automatic rifles near the deceased males and 2 spent 7.62 39mm cartridges. These rifles were examined by the firearms lab and they were determined to be the same guns used in Fort Nelson and Dease Lake.
Oh, there we go.
One of the 2 guns was determined to be the same gun purchased by McLeod and Schmigelski at the Vancouver Island business. Interestingly, the other gun, they didn't know where it had come from.
Did they ever find out?
Not that I could find. They may have. I may have missed it in my research. But initially, they did not know where this other weapon had come from. So, interesting.
Yeah.
Police recovered a digital camera where the bodies of the 2 were found. The camera contained 6 videos and 3 still images. In the videos, McLeod and Schmigelski took responsibility for all 3 murders. They also described their intent to commit suicide and their wish to be cremated. These videos do not contain any information regarding the motive behind their actions, nor do they provide specifics regarding the murders. Forensic analysis to date has been unable to determine the exact date and time when each of the videos and still images were taken, and the digital camera has been identified as Dyck's. So it was Leonard Dyck's camera.
Mm-hmm.
The RCMP Behavioral Analysis Unit, BAU, conducted a review of the videos of McLeod and Schmigelski. BAU is concerned with a behavior called identification, which is considered a warning behavior in the context of threat assessment. In that, the videos may influence or inspire other individuals to carry out a targeted act of violence, essentially creating copycat killers. In BAU's experience, those who commit mass casualty attacks are heavily inspired by previous attackers and their behaviors. So, RCMP decided never to release those videos to the public.
Yeah, I support that. There's obviously, with many of us who follow this genre, true crime, there's curiosity.
Yeah.
But my curiosity doesn't supersede the needs of the family, doesn't supersede the needs of the police, and so I absolutely support their decision to let the professionals handle it and glean what they can from it and analyze it. The rest of us don't need to.
Well, one person wanted to see those very badly.
Oh, really?
That was Alan Schmigelski, Breyer's dad.
Okay.
He wanted to see what his son had to say before he committed suicide.
Okay.
And Schmigelski spoke again with Global BC's Sarah McDonald. And we'll make a link to the entire 8-minute interview available in our show notes, but here are some highlights of what he said to her.
We have 5 deaths here. This is all preventable. And with this being an international story, right, we have people from around the world that are deceased. We have the whole world wanting to know what's going on. I know you want to ask me about the video, but I still have a non-disclosure, and I still haven't told anyone. I haven't known what to feel since this all started, okay? He wasn't healthy. He was skin and bones. He was abused, he was neglected, he was failing to thrive. I just don't want any other parent to have to go through this. I don't want any other kid to have to decide his only option in life is to go on a trip like this, okay? I don't want this ever to happen again. Every day it's been awful news. Every day.
I think the big question that a lot of people who don't know Breyer are asking is why. And as his dad, is there anything you want the public to know about what perhaps...
He lost hope. He lost hope. Okay?
I mean, the Breyer that the public knows, that's not the Breyer that you know.
No. The Breyer I enjoyed company. He was very intelligent, very active. He had disabilities. We shouldn't have had to go on news and say, we're going to take this to litigation. Right? Why? Why do they treat me that way? And they've done it since the start. It wasn't until a week later that RCMP actually came and talked to me. Why?
Have you shared the frustrations that we have had with, we feel like we're not getting a lot of information about even cause of death, stuff like that?
You have no idea my level of frustration. Okay, if you're frustrated as the media, how do you think when this is my little boy that I dearly loved? How come they didn't talk to me? Maybe I could have helped them if they would have admitted that I exist.
Yeah, definitely somebody who's very going through a lot.
Yeah, he's in a lot of pain over that, for sure.
The one thing that strikes me with both of the audio that we have, both interviews that we have with him, he's talked multiple times about how his son was lost and his son was, strayed on, he wasn't provided with what he needed to in life. And as a parent, I'm sitting there thinking, well, yeah, that isn't, as a parent, isn't that your role? But I'm sure there are family dynamics that we don't know about, and who raised them and this and that. But to me, my initial thought was like, well, yeah, as a parent, that's you're the one whose job it is. But again, not knowing those
Right. We don't
those
know the ins and
specifics.
outs.
Yeah, because family dynamics are very specific and unique to the household, and is really difficult to say. But that was definitely a man who is in a lot of pain. I certainly wouldn't want that video or the videos released. I don't know why he does, but he's seen it. I haven't. He's in a lot of pain, and I empathize with that incredibly. He's a victim too. His son His son is gone. His son is gone. He's going to be thought of. People are going to think negatively about it's a shitty situation for him too. But it was interesting.
They're not here to explain. People have had to speculate on the motives of these young men.
Yeah.
Some sites have suggested the information that RCMP is holding back is that the two killers might have identified with a specific group. People have found photos of Breyer, for example, in military garb, holding weapons, and in possession of Nazi memorabilia.
Okay.
Perhaps they were white supremacists identifying as Nazis. Who knows?
Yep.
Others, one site in particular that I'm not going to name, mentioned that they may be incels, but I couldn't find any other confirming evidence of that. So that's why I'm not mentioning the website. But who knows?
That was the first thing I thought of when the RCMP had said we don't want to incite other people to, and I do remember that's in that community, in the incel community, that they really are inspired by other people who have done
bad things. It all started with that Elliot Rodger piece of crap.
That's exactly who I was thinking. He's like a god in that community, and so that my initial instinct by what they were saying is,
Yep. Well, I guess, like I say, we will never know. But here again, we have two angry white men who left a path of pain and senseless destruction in their final days.
Yeah, we're good at that. Oh, wow.
That's it for this week's case.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, that's still a fresh case in my mind. But, there was a lot that I got from this that I wasn't aware of.
Like the fourth possible victim.
The actual distance. I had always thought, well, this has happened within miles of each other, kilometers of each other. But no, it was so it makes a lot more sense as to why the police weren't immediately
thousands. They had driven thousands of kilometers.
Yep. And so because initially it's like, why aren't you linking these two? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But no, that's a huge span of distance.
All right. So let's do some voicemails. It looks like we have a couple.
Okay. All right.
Here is one from, look. It's somebody from Nova Scotia.
Oh.
I always love it when someone from Nova Scotia leaves a voicemail, just because.
You really do.
So I need to download it I'll just play it.
Hi there, Scott and Mike. It's Denise calling from an atypically hot and steamy Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I just wanted to send a voicemail thank you for your podcast. My dog and I have been powering through it during work-at-home isolation. You've done a fine job keeping us company and entertained. We always look forward to your next episode, and we powered through the entire catalog over the past several weeks. This is the point in the voicemail where I might suggest some cases for you to look into, but don't worry, I sent a detailed email to that end. In closing, go shit in your hat, and then wash your hands. We're in a pandemic, for crying out loud.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
Yes, and I did get your email, and I may not have responded yet as of this episode.
What could you possibly be busy doing, Mike? Only everything.
Writing a book?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that.
It's God, I wish pets counted as downloads.
Pets?
Yeah, because people are, listen to it with my dog, listen to it with my cat.
Yeah,
I wish that counted as a download.
If it was the more ears,
yeah.
Like even if the ears are
Sergeant Barkenstein,
feline or canine,
he counts.
Barkenstein.
Yeah.
My Sergeant Barkenstein.
He counts as a listener.
Here's another lumberyarder, actually, who just wanted to say hi.
Hey, Mike and Scott. It's James Cox calling. Long-time fan, first-time caller. Just wanted to say thanks, gentlemen, for everything you do with the podcast. I enjoy listening to you guys every Sunday. It's the highlight of my week. Go take a poop in your toque, gentlemen. Have a great day. Bye for now.
And that was James Cox.
Yeah. He's active in the Yumber Yard.
Yeah, he definitely is. So
right on, James. Thanks for leaving the voicemail.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated,
and
sir.
I'm really sorry that we're the highlight of your week.
Yeah, really. Yeah, well,
But thank you.
So people like us, Scott.
They do.
It's nice.
They do.
It's nice.
They do.
It's nice to be liked. It's not nice to be disliked.
After living the vast majority of life, like, do people even care that I'm here?
Do people know I'm alive?
It's nice to get some kind words. Hello, anybody? I exist. Hello.
Oh, boy.
And now there's people saying nice things.
So there you go. There's our 2 voicemails for the week.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
We will take it.
There were very kind, supportive voicemails.
If you want to leave us one, you can do so at 1-877-327-5786 or 1-877-DARK-PTN. And we're not singing this week. Enough of that crap. Exactly. So if your call stands out, we might play it on the show. Let's have a look at some Patreon. Now it's time for some Patreon shout-outs. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Woo!
Scott's favorite part.
Woo!
I get emails every week from people who say, I normally don't listen to Patreon shout-outs at the end of any show, but you guys just seem to make it really funny. And that's the...
This was absolutely not... I don't know what made me suddenly start... getting into detail with all these people I know.
Right.
But it's fun to do. I'm glad people like it.
Yeah, these people are really enjoying themselves. And
because I totally get it. I would only listen to shout-outs if I was expecting to hear mine.
Right. Well, yeah, that's just the way you are.
I'm a selfish bastard. So.
No, but it's just an extra piece of the show to me. Mm-hmm. It's just as fun. Here we have one. Our friend Sally Norris upped her pledge.
Oh.
And she's from Weymouth in Great Britain.
Oh, that's I'm going to assume, a beautiful place.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Do you know what she does there?
A potato peeler.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they eat a lot of potatoes.
Next we have Lenny Bright from Wichita, Kansas.
What a name.
Lenny Bright.
Not
Lenny Dim, Lenny Bright.
No, what a great name.
Yeah. And what does Lenny do?
Oh, take a guess. Guess what? I'll tell you.
Light bulb installer.
Manufacturer.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
very,
great.
very. He actually changed his last name to Bright just because he's so passionate about what he does.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Very. I'd say.
This one is a little weird.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Netta and the Moose.
Yeah.
They have up their pledge, and Netta and the Moose are from Kristiansand in Norway.
Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have mooses? Meese in Norway?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Well, yeah, wow.
A certain type of moose, apparently.
Yeah. Sounds like it would be a band.
So what do you think Netta and the Moose do?
Horticulturalist.
But what about the moose?
Also a horticulturalist.
Oh, they do it together.
It's tandem horticulturaling.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they do it together. They've been partners for a very long time. When I say partners, I mean friends and partners in business. But yeah, they're having they're great pals and loving their horticulture.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Next we have Morrigan.
Morrigan.
And I don't know where Morrigan is from.
Sawtooth National Forest.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Idaho.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I drove through the top of Idaho.
Did you? Did you see them?
I did not.
Oh.
I was not in Sawtooth National Forest, I don't believe. I didn't notice if I was.
You may have.
So what does Morrigan do?
They're lumberjack and Jills.
Morrigan?
Because I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
okay. Yeah, fair enough.
It's a lumberjack person.
There you go.
Yeah. It's solo lumberjacker.
Yep.
Yeah. No help, no assistance. Uses an axe, and it's I don't want to be like, I want to tell somebody how to do their job. They just use one of those little hatchets, which is just bloody time consuming.
Yeah.
But So and they like drag the tree themselves to the lumber mill, and It's yeah. But you know, the charge a lofty price for those trees.
There you go. Next, we have Heather Brown from Tilghman, Maryland.
Tilghman, Maryland.
Yeah, and
good old Tilghman, they say.
Yeah,
so that's what they say.
Okay,
yeah.
And what does she do in Tilghman?
Mail person.
Mail person.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's delivering the mail.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a good
through sleet and snow. And
yeah, well,
yeah.
They wish not the snow, but it's a good gig, man. It's you've got a long career.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's mail, it needs to be delivered.
There you go.
Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Bridget Kane from Fountain Valley in California. Didn't we have that?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, there's a lot of fountain places.
I thought we had a Fountain Valley last week, but
maybe somebody told a friend.
Could have been.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been.
Could have been.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Bridget does in Fountain Valley.
Bridget is a stay-at-home pet owner.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. She doesn't. They don't have children.
They just
that household doesn't have children. Yeah, one.
Oh, okay.
One.
Pet.
What
kind of pet is it?
Kinkajou.
Oh, a kinkajou.
Yeah, they require a lot of attention, constant attention. And so, if somebody in the household is going to be working, you should not get a kinkajou. And so that's just dedicated to just the kinkajou.
She's the kinkajouiest.
Yeah. Whoa. And the kinkajou's name is Schmitty.
Schmitty the kinkajou.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Thanks, Schmitty's mom.
Yeah. Thanks, Schmitty's mom.
Next, we have the person who does our books.
Oh,
for us. Her name is Kathy Lemanis, and she is back as a patron. So I know what Kathy does, and she lives in Burnaby, so I know that too.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a good buddy of mine. We've been friends for 20-odd years
Holy
now.
crackers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she helps me to struggle with the taxes and all those kind of things that we have to do. Numbers. All the numbers. So thank you, Kathy, for all the numbers. And Kathy is actually, we mentioned her in our episode about the murders along the Highway of Tears recently, because she is the cousin of one of the victims. Yeah. So thank you again, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy, for the numbers.
And how about this for a call out from a place we talked about this week? Sarah Sikis from Whitehorse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in the Yukon.
Yeah, it gets cold up there, dude.
Well, yeah.
I had a girlfriend a long time ago. She was moving here from there.
Yep.
And it was like minus 40.
Wow.
With a minus 40 wind chill.
Wow.
She's like,
so it's minus a million.
Yeah, she was like literally your pants freeze.
Feels like an ice cube.
Yeah. Jesus.
So here we have, lastly, for as far as Patreon goes, we have Virginia or Gina Day from Austin, Texas. And she's up to her pledge for us.
I do want to go there.
I do, and I have not been to Austin, although that is where CrimeCon is next year. Whether we go or not is a different thing. Depends on how the international travel thing works.
Yeah, and how many of you continue listening to us. So please continue. Please.
Exactly.
Get your friends.
And I have family in Austin, Texas.
You do?
I absolutely do. So chances are good.
I don't.
No?
No, I don't have family in Austin, Texas.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's it for Patreon. But anyway, interestingly, our friend Sally Norris decided to send us more donut money.
Wow.
Sally seems to love us, and I appreciate it. She
we
sends
love Sally,
two donut icons and says, "Many thanks as always, Sally N. I'm literally speechless. What a terrible week for the entire planet."
Yeah.
Things have not been fun.
It has been. I had a very, very wonderful but powerful conversation with my 10-year-old today about systematic racism. Systemic racism, Black Lives Matter, protest. We had some pretty powerful conversations, and my 10-year-old was shocked by the world. So I pretty much traumatized her.
There you go. Yeah. So thank you all to our patrons, past and present. Pleasant. Well, you are pleasant as well. For your pledges. And due course our lovely donut money donators I love you
Mhm.
because the donuts are good,
Mhm.
even though I'm trying to lose weight now.
3
but
pounds this week, I hear.
3 pounds. Yeah.
Way to go. That's awesome.
3 whole big
Well,
pounds.
it's fucking awesome.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens by next February because that's kind of my goal.
I think
it's a ways away.
3 pounds a week is really goddamn good.
Well, I'm not going to measure it by that. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
I am practicing some cognitive behavioral therapy around my eating.
Jesus. Okay. Wow.
So it's an interesting thing. It should be an interesting few months. So thank you again, folks, for supporting our show. And there will be probably less of me to support as time goes on. If you don't already, it would mean a lot to us if you subscribe to the show. You can easily find us on iTunes Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, or wherever you get your on-demand audio. Check out our website, darkpoutine.com, for show notes. Give us a like or a follow on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Dark Poutine. Most importantly, thanks for listening and tell your friends about us. Word of mouth is a powerful thing. Until next week, don't forget to be a good egg and not a bad apple.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Wee. It's Billy again.
It's Billy.
Oh, sweaty ears. I got a bad case of sweaty ears.